This podcast contains strong language and discussions about relationships, sex, and love. It may not be suitable for younger listeners. This is the Can't Keep My Mouth Shut podcast, and I am Nick Selena. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of my podcast. And today, I think this is quite an important one, girls and guys. We're looking at love bombing versus the honeymoon phase, aka, is this person love bombing you or is it genuine interest? Is it healthy or is it unhealthy? Now, very, very difficult to distinguish when you're in it. I should know because I've been love bombed many times in my life, and I believed everyone was just the soulmate, magical man of my life. And it turns out it absolutely wasn't. So I'm laying this very clear now at the beginning that when you're in it, it's so fucking hard to distinguish between the two. So if we try and start off saying, what is love bombing versus the honeymoon phase? Love bombing is a manipulative tactic that is used by toxic people to get you to love them. And it's a part of, emotional abuse and control. The honeymoon phase, or should I say genuine endearment, is a healthy, happy first stage of a relationship where everything is glorious, when you are, unable to be away from each other, when you're feeling all those feels. And it's like, I'm excited. I think I've met someone. They feel the same. Everything's great. Sadly, that's exactly how love bombing fucking feels, right? So, and yet with love bombing, if you fall for it, which I have, right? So this is a judgment-free zone. If you fall for it, what's going to happen is you're going to end up in a fucking horrible, abusive relationship with someone who's toxic, someone who's controlling, someone who's a narcissist, someone who manipulates you, someone who lies to you, someone who cheats on you, right? Because you fell for love bombing. If you fall for a happy, healthy honeymoon phase, you're going to end up in a relationship that's based in respect, mutual love, trust, all those glorious things, and, probably go off and live happy ever after. So it's quite a big deal, isn't it? It is a big deal. If you fall for one or the other, right, it's like, you're fucked, or you live happy ever after. It's a big thing. So to be able to decipher between the two could cost you years of your life, right? No pressure, Nix. But this is how I feel. I mean, I was love bombed. The most recent one was my ex-fiance. It was 2 years ago, but the relationship was a year, but it's taken me nearly a year to recover from it. It's still a chunk of your life, people. So how do we differentiate between these two states? Because they are so similar in kind at the beginning. Love bombing, right. To be clear, one, the love bombing starts off extremely high and will deteriorate down. The honeymoon phase starts off more at a lower trajectory and will grow. So the love will constantly keep growing. Okay, so that's the first main difference. But if we're looking at love bombing on its own, I would say the number one thing to look out for is speed. Fuck me. It's too fast, too soon, too much. Speed and time is a narcissist's weapon of choice. I say that a lot because I can't hero that enough. Speed is their weapon of choice. They don't want you to discover who they are so early on that you'll walk. They want you to discover the real ugly side of them once they've got their claws into you and once you're hooked in. How do they do that? Well, they love bomb the shit out of you at the beginning of the relationship so you think you found true love. And once they realise that you're emotionally in, hook, line and sinker, that's when they start to change. Speed. Love bombing will be over the top all the time. So it'll be a case of wanting to see you all the time, trying to move the relationship extremely fast. So I love yous will be dropped within weeks. You'll be feeling swept off your feet, but actually in sort of like a whirlwind way, but more like a tornado, you know? Like negatively swept off your feet. Like I'm at dizziness here about what's going on. 1 minute I'm single and the next minute it's been a month and they're saying they love me and I'm their soulmate and they're buying me expensive gifts. Oh, wow, it's a lot. The gifts is another huge hallmark of the love bombing phase. So I'm not just talking about like spending like money on a gift or a present for you. That happens. It does a lot. But it's also over the top grandiose gestures like maybe expensive dinner or theatre nights or hotel stays, or maybe they want to whisk you away on holiday within the first 2 weeks. What? I've only just met you and you want to go and spend the weekend together and you love me and I'm your soulmate. Like, think about it objectively. How can you be someone's soulmate after 3 weeks? They don't know your soul yet. And you don't know theirs. And yet it happens all the time because it happened to me. And I believed it. So that's what I mean. Let me tell you, I'm not having a go at anyone who falls for this shit. It's so hard to not think you've met the one. And this is how they get away with it. Because it feels like you have met the one. Oh, it's bollocks, isn't it? It's actually bollocks. What they also do with love bombing is they mirror you. One of my narcissistic ex would be like, oh my God, you're so creative. That's so like, I love to paint. I'm really creative as well. And he'd write me letters all the time because I would always like to write letters. Of course, as soon as the relationship was in, like, all the letters stopped, didn't they? All the fucking cards stopped, letters stopped. And did he paint anything? Did he? Fuck. There was no creativity. There were all the shit. And I remember all these conversations because I remember being so enamored with him that like every moment was just burnt into my mind. And yeah, none of it happened. He was mirroring me. He was trying to portray himself as my soulmate because that also helps get me hooked. And it fucking worked as well. So mirroring is a big thing. Like, if they suddenly like everything you like, right? And they want to do everything you want to do. And you're like, oh my God, I've met me in a male or female form. You know, like, oh my God, I've met my counterpoint. Like, this person is like me, a male. Like, really? Are you sure? Especially if it's really fast. Also, you can't really put a finger on why you like them. So with love bombing, it's like, oh, God, it's just something about that person. And you can't really depict. That's not right. You should be able to say, I actually really like this guy because he's so ethical. I love the way he cares about the planet. I love the way he's so invested in his work. I love the way he's very supportive. You should be able to depict why you love someone. And this takes time. Whereas love bombing, 3 weeks in, some guy's going, you're my soulmate. You're my soulmate. And you're like, yeah, I just really like it. No, you like being love bombed. They make you feel so special. Like you are the best fucking woman on the planet. And not only that, you're the only woman on the planet. They have got no eyes for anyone else but you. Okay, well, it's been 21 days, bro, but sure. You also probably end up full of butterflies, right? And being triggered. Butterflies is like this, oh my God, I got butterflies being around this person. We used to depict this as a positive thing about when you're dating, but actually, I think realistically, those little butterflies, that anxiousness, is like a trigger warning in your body. I'm not saying butterflies are bad across the board, but if there's just this like overwhelming anxious flutter going on and, you know, and then you're checking your phone all the time, so then, but it's just overwhelming. That's probably because it's love bombing, right? You've got to have all that over the topness that goes with it as well. And like, it also feels like a game of cat and mouse. You're put on a pedestal And then they're presenting themselves as like a superhuman best version of themselves. And you feel it. When you're put on a pedestal, you feel it. And it can actually be quite unnerving. I remember with my fiance, I wrote in my diary like 3 months after meeting him, and I just wrote it randomly. This is why I love journaling. I said, I can't keep up with the speed of how he wants. Like, I can't keep up with the speed of his life. And I remember thinking, I just feel so overwhelmed. And I'd been moaning in the diary that my fiance would be moaning at me. There's lots of moaning going on because he felt like I didn't love him the way he loved me. And actually what he was saying at that point is he hadn't quite got me the way he wanted to. So he felt on edge that I didn't love him like he loved me. And I'm feeling very overwhelmed and saying I can't keep up with the speed of how he runs his life. That is just, now I realise, like, what a red flag. Because it was all like I was in a tornado. I couldn't breathe. I can't breathe even talking about it. I'm brave. So yes, love bombing is full of compliments, over the top gifts, so when I say compliments, that's a really good thing to circle back on. It's not like there's a distinct line between flattery and compliments, right? And I feel like flattery is more like, you're the best. Oh my God, you're the best thing I've ever met. Oh, my ex was nothing compared to you. You're the best relationship I've ever had. You're the best woman I've ever met. You're the best I've had in bed, right? It's just this overburdened flattery of these big, grand statements. I feel like compliments is more like, you are such a cool person. Like, I love how genuine you are and how authentic you are. And I love how, you care about me, but you also you have your own thing, and you know, how focused you are on your own stuff. And that for me is the difference. And I think it is so hard. It's so hard to, but I think love bombing is way more flattery, and the healthy phase is more compliments. So you will have the flattery, but it's all grandiose. Just imagine everything is all over the top, everything. The speed, the time, the gifts, the words, the flattery, the matching you in every way, the mirroring, even your butterflies are all a bit over the top, right? And what I will end the love bombing, the unhealthy part, I'm going to say, it's just a cliche, isn't it? If it's too good to be true, it probably is. That, for me, is love bombing. If you feel on some level like, I've won jackpot, I've met the love of my life, this man, this woman, but it's like, how did I, this is too good to be true. It probably is. Sorry to say, it probably is. But moving on to the honeymoon phase, the healthy start to a relationship is going to be basically a lot different to all of that shit. It's similar in that you still feel that intense, like, oh my God, I've met someone, and they like me, and I like them, and ooh, and then you're going on a first day and a second day, and ooh, I fucking miss that feeling. But it's slower. So it's slower to grow. It's lots of talking. You're actually having conversations like, where did you grow up? What was your family life like? What was your school life like? And you're getting to know this person on a deep level, and they're presenting themselves authentically, and you're coming to the table authentically as well. And with that authenticity comes space and time, because you can't be someone's soulmate 3 weeks in. 21 days of knowing someone, soulmates. And I'm saying 3 weeks because I feel like that seems to be a marker. Like 3 weeks, a month, or 3 months is when the markers when this kind of shit happens. With a healthy honeymoon phase, yes, you want to be around each other all the time. Yes, you think you might have found the one. Yes, you're starting to get in lovey feels, but it's so much more slower. A healthy person, when they hear someone say, I love you, and it's been 3 weeks, will probably go, oh, that's a red flag. If you hear it, you're like me, because at the time, this is how I was, and perhaps you're codependent, perhaps you have low self-esteem, or, you have this idealization of romance and what a partner will come into do, you buy it. And that's okay. It's okay that I genuinely believe it's okay that you buy it because I've done it, but I need you to be more aware because I want to avoid the relationship that's going to follow suit because it ain't going to be like that all the time. So that's the other thing I will loop back to is with your honeymoon phase, it is growing forwards. Love bombing, once they realise they got you, fucked. If they start withdrawing it all those beautiful compliments start going. They might even start being nasty to you. All those date nights suddenly aren't important anymore. You don't go out as much. They want to spend time with other people. You don't feel special anymore. And then you try and clamour to get it back. Like, please be the way you were at the beginning. And you don't understand why. You've now got a different person. And why won't they be that way again? And you are chasing the high of the love bombing. What's happened is the mask has slipped off and you are now dealing with the real person. Because love bombing's not sustainable. You can't keep that up. There's usually like a 3 to 6 months timeline with love bombing. After 6 months, you can't keep it up. And then you're sad because you feel like, why is my relationship already so shit? What have I done wrong? And I haven't changed. And why don't they love me the way they used to? And where's my gifts gone? Like, you want it all back because you are addicted to the high and the euphoria of that phase. The honeymoon phase, nay. This continues in an upward trajectory. So you got this space and time and your love starts to grow and it's reciprocated and you start to cherish time together and buy each other gifts maybe, but they're personal, they like meaningful and you just move forwards together. And instead of having that drop off where suddenly it's all changed, you're actually moving in a better, happier space and you're just getting more and more and more close. Because you're dealing with a healthy person, not a toxic lying arsehole. Another thing, obviously I spoke about flattering compliments, is you will get the genuine compliments from this person and you will feel calm, safe and relaxed. Those anxious butterflies won't be there. You will trust that they'll call when they say they're going to call. You don't have to be anxiously attached to them because you know they'll always be there for you and they feel the same about you as you do about them. And you don't have to be around each other all the time. Your boundaries are respected. Like, talking of boundaries, I remember with my ex-narc, he got upset with me one day because I was trying to take it slow and he obviously didn't feel he had full control over me and he wanted to invite me to some barbecue but felt he couldn't because I was like taking it slow and didn't want to be like introduced to his friends. And we got like in a semi-argument about it. And now I look back and I realise he did not respect my boundaries. It's not like I didn't, I was in love with him. I thought I was, very much. But I just wanted time because I was like, I just want to be like, and I couldn't. And I didn't realise why. Why? It's because I was being fucking love bombed by another bloody narcissist. So yeah, your boundaries are respected. You both don't, you don't drop off the face of the earth when you meet each other and all your other plans are cancelled because you're all together all the time. You get to do your own shit. And if you say, do you know what? I just want to keep this slow and steady. And they'll go, yeah, cool, perfect. It's like, great. The honeymoon phase is so much calmer. Let me just breathe. So much calmer. So much more stable. You will still get all of that excitement. I'm not taking that away from you. It still feels like fucking bliss. It does. And you still have like, oh my God, it's wonderful. But the person coming to you and the way you're coming to them is a very different connection because you don't have the rush or the time. And then when someone says, I love you, it's meaningful. It's authentic. And of course, you are allowed to have that loving feeling really early on. Like, it's very hard not to. And I know that, especially when two people meet and just sparks fly and you're just like, oh my God, I get it. But I want you to look out for all the other stuff that goes with that could mean you're being love bombed rather than an authentic connection. I'm going to end this episode here because I could talk about this for hours, as you know. Like narcissists and their way of dealing with relationships is one of my favorite topics. I am sorry if you still find this quite difficult to clarify in your mind. So if you need to DM me on Instagram at any point, if you're like, Nix, I just need to know, is this love bombing or is this love bombing? By all means, you can slide into my DMs at Nixalina, Nixalina. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok. But yes, it's very tricky. Please do not hold back on your love and being present because you're so scared that it might be love bombed. That's another thing I don't want you to do. I still want you to believe in finding true love, and I still want you to go in with an open heart. But I also want you to have an open mind and just be very wary that this happens and that it's a manipulation is what it is. And I don't want you to fall into the same trap that I have done many times. And there we go. I hope everyone has enjoyed this episode and it's helped you in some way. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Monday evening is when I put out my episode. So I see you all then and have a wonderful week. Thanks for listening to the Can't Keep My Mouth Shut podcast. Produced and hosted by me, Nixalina, and recorded in the Splice Cast Studios in Singapore. I'm available to listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, and all major podcast listening apps. Do subscribe to enjoy a new episode every Monday evening. Please do give me a 5-star review. It helps other people also find my podcast. For more content and features to read, you can check out my website, nixalina.com. That's nixalina.com. I'm also on social media. Simply search at Nixalina, Nixalina, to find me. Don't be shy. Come say hi.